Oh, hi! Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tiara, and if you are returning, welcome back. Today, I am just going to be talking about Love is Blind. So this is basically going to be a continuation of my last video where I give my unpopular opinions on the ladies of this season. If you haven't watched that, go ahead and check it out. But for this video, I'm just going to be focusing on the men this season of Love is Blind and my issues with them. They are a mess and I am here for it. So if you are interested in my opinions about these people, grab a snack, grab some tea, and get comfy. Let's get into it. Now onto the men. Let's talk about Uche. Uche is just gross to me. He's a certain kind of man that if you've dated or interacted with, you know exactly who he is from the moment. You just know, and you just distance yourself right away. I've met a handful of Uches. He reminds me of Kwame from the last season. Just weird, fake vibes, just not genuine vibes. Who are you? His voice, from the way he talks, it's so stiff and robotic. I don't know. The way that he spun the whole situation with Aaliyah, straight up gaslighted her. He attacked her, basically questioned her whole character based off of 2 years ago and acted like that was yesterday when not even 2 months ago, he slept with his ex who was there, who he never mentioned. Like, it just astounds me, the audacity of men like that who are just holier than thou. He did that to make himself feel and seem better because he knew that at some point he would have to tell Aaliyah what was going on, and he wanted it to be like, well, we both have our problems and we're choosing each other. Like, nah, that shit is not cute. I mean, there's questions about him being a colorist because he said Aaliyah's not his type. He gives that vibe. He seems like the type of dude who is like that, who fetishized Lydia because he's a spicy Puerto Rican, then discarded her as soon as she started relying on him, which is disgusting. Which is why I was like, maybe Lydia isn't like super crazy. Maybe she's just a regular girl who has her ups and downs and trust issues because this ain't shit ass nigga is trying to play with her and use her as like cute little trophy. Yeah, I don't like him. He plays the victim. He points fingers. He might be the victim of stalking Lydia, might genuinely be unhinged or whatever, but his character shows with how he comes to the group to try to immediately down talk her. And I love how all the girls immediately clocked it. Miriam was like, I'm not Lydia or Aaliyah. I'm not about to cry. You picked the right one. And I was like, I love that for you, Miriam. I was waiting to see that from you, Miriam. They made you look like a lunatic, Miriam, but she's grounded. She has it. She's together. Somebody needed to check him and call him out too. I don't like that he wanted to talk to Milton. Although it is true that in the pods he kept to himself and Lydia did the most and did way too much on her end, which I totally missed in the Lydia portion. But the fact that Lydia, she also spun the narrative and reframed everything like, oh, he was trying to get back with me, and meanwhile she's asking him to start from zero. It definitely gives manipulative. I feel like that was the dynamic of Uche and Lydia's relationship, and it was probably a crazy power struggle between them, I can imagine. Back to Uche, there's not really much else I can say. He just is one of those deplorable people, somebody who you just don't want to get too close to. I'm glad Aaliyah got out and got away, and I wish she could have sooner, but it had to play out the way it did. And I don't know why he even came back to the little gathering to try to talk to Lydia. Oh, that goes into my theory. I honestly think him and Lydia were both in on this. And I feel like by him accusing her, when Aaliyah first said that, I don't know, like it seems like you two might be in on this together, which it does. He immediately was like, are you crazy? I would never do that. Are you crazy? You think she planned to be here? And she's saying, yes, people have told me she practically planned to be here and find somebody else from her past. Then suddenly he wants to flip it the next time we see him and come for Lydia and flip it on her like, you knew I would be here. Dead ass. I believe they both knew that each other would be there and they thought it would make good drama good television. Oh, we'll get screen time. Maybe we'll rekindle it at the end. We'll choose each other even though we're with other people and leave the show together. I don't know. I feel like they planned something and it didn't turn out the right way. To save face, he threw it all on Lydia. And at that point, Lydia can't say, we both planned to be here. She can't say, you planned to be here because I was here, because it's either she planned to be here or they both did. And if she admits that they both did, then that's egg in her face. Then she looks like a manipulator, which is probably what they both are. But in that position, I feel like that could very much be what happened, and she can't confront it and she can't say, you told me about it, because at that point it's all blown up and it's over. No more screen time, no more show. So that's my theory. And the fact that the producers had to have known that they dated and knew each other, I think they were all in on it. That's my opinion. They were all in on it, and then he threw it on her and she couldn't deny it. Yeah, she couldn't really say anything, and that's why she was so pissed, because she was like, I literally can't say anything because it'll out both of us. Now on to, oh, I forgot about JP. JP is very creepy, weird. He's also Republican coded. He's good old boy coded and very scary. He doesn't know how to communicate. I don't know if it's because he was intimidated by her or because he was expecting some early 2000s Jessica Simpson and she wasn't that. But Taylor is a really gorgeous girl. I don't know if he's just socially awkward, but he gives me the creeps. He has the vacant eyes of a serial killer. And I'm glad that Taylor got away from that situation. He just was giving nothing, and his whole personality was wearing American flags. So there's nothing really else to say there. He's very creepy. Oh, Milton. Okay, so Milton is my favorite guy. I loved that when confronted by Uche was just like, okay, that's your perspective. In my perspective, I'm totally fine. And that can just be your case scenario. Your relationship could have been bad. That doesn't mean mine will have to be. Like, it might not have been her. It might have been your dynamic or you. And he's winning the I don't give a fuck war. He is winning the war. And okay, so apparently there has been talk on the streets that allegedly Milton had a whole girlfriend before going on the show and broke up with her to be on the 5th season of Love is Blind, and also remained in contact with her throughout the experiment. Now, I do not know how valid this claim is, but it definitely does affect my perspective and commentary on Milton. He's probably no longer my favorite cast member on the men's side, but I'm still going to include some of my previous opinions and commentary before finding out about these claims to keep it fair. I'm really not sure what drove him to go on the show. He seems like he's doing really well in his life. He seems very mature, but I do see that it seems like he probably has a tendency to shut down when he can't deal with things emotionally. But yeah, Milton, he's just too smart to get stuck. He's too young to want to be married at this point. I know he's deep in his career. He probably feels like bored. I think it would be good for him to date and find somebody who is emotionally and maturity-wise on the same level as him. I don't think that's Lydia. I think she's gonna try to make a man out of him. My coworkers did not like how his parents, his mom and sister came for Lydia, but I was like, rightfully so, because she said, you're not about to rob this cradle. And his family looks like they come from well-educated, well-financed background. I like that his family has boundaries and that they want to vet her and want to make sure that she is the right option for their son, and I respect that. Chris, let's talk about Chris. Chris is in love with Johnny. My only thing about him is he just seems really sweet and devoted. I don't feel like Johnny should have did him the way that she did, and I don't feel like he should have taken her back because he can do better. But you know, it's fine to give people a second chance and to a chance to right their wrongs. And the fact that he saw her at the airport and still approached her seems really sweet. He just seems like a genuine guy, and I hope that she takes care of him. He does his best to reassure her, but he's definitely not the aggressive, like, stand up for her type. But it's really cute that he tries, and I think he's probably like the sweetest little thing on the show. Just very pure. I would say he's the most pure. And then Izzy. Izzy is somebody who all my coworkers like. They think he's so sexy. And you know, he's cute, he fine a little bit, but I feel like he is the type of man to avoid, especially if you're high maintenance like Stacy and you have your shit together and you're looking for someone to provide for you and pay for your entire dinner. Like, girl, please. In this economy, dating older wasn't working for you. There's a reason. I think Stacy needs to rethink her views on relationships. They're not supposed to replace your dad. They're not supposed to be your dad. They're supposed to be your partner. Partnership is compromise and both contributing. Stacy. Anyway, Izzy just doesn't seem like he's gonna be able to carry his weight. He's lied about his finances, what he's gonna do for her, how he's gonna treat her. I cannot stand a man who will tell you he's gonna do one thing and does not do any of that. Izzy is like a man of talk. He's a man of words, but he is not a man of actions. He's just getting into his sales career. He's been in it for a day before he left to shoot the show, and he just doesn't really seem like he has it figured out, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you have to know, in a dynamic with someone like Stacy, it's not gonna work. I don't like that when she tries to confront him, he cries and says he doesn't feel like enough, which I'm sure is true, but it's like, also be honest with yourself. You're not gonna be enough for her. It's okay to be real about it. I don't think it's okay that he feels that way, because he shouldn't. He should be with somebody who he feels enough for, and that's enough of a sign to let you know to let it go. But the fact that he's just trying to make it work with Stacy, I just never felt like their bond was that deep to be doing all of that. I didn't like that he was saying he was turned on by her attacking Johnny, and he's constantly comparing her to Johnny. It just seems like he's trying to convince himself that he made the right decision. And in my opinion, it seems like he wants a reason to not like Johnny, because he doesn't want to think about the fact that Johnny accepted him as he was at his worst with his bad credit. She was totally fine with taking that chance with him. Him and Johnny could have really worked out, in my opinion, but he wanted to go with Stacy and go with a more shallow pick, and that's what he got. And now he can't handle it when he's put to the actual test. I don't know, it's just something about men like that is just like, get it together. Just make her dinner, rub her feet. There was a scene he was cleaning the apartment, but it was for his mom to come. Would it really be so hard to clean up and cook for Stacy once? Been together all this time. It's not that hard. Get up and cook. She was like, okay, what have you done for me to appreciate? And then he's crying and guilting her. That's not gonna be a fulfilling relationship for her, because it's always gonna be her being guilted to take care of him and feel bad for him, instead of him actually stepping up and trying. If you can't financially meet her where she's at least, I don't know, do some chores and rub her feet. Damn. It seems like he avoids taking accountability for his shortcomings, and it would be better to confront that and be clear about who you are and what you bring to the table than to pretend you bring all of these things and then you show up empty-handed to the table, and then you start crying when she's asking, what are we gonna eat? Yeah, he's cute. He's just not equally yoked. He's not honest about not being equally yoked. His avoidance, I feel like, just makes him kind of unattractive. It's one thing to not have control over career. Like, those things take time to build up and to earn and to get in a position and learn a new position. But the fact that he didn't speak up about his credit, what kind of conversations did you have? And the fact that he's mad at Johnny and wants her to be attacked and doesn't want her to be happy with Chris. I just feel like he's hurt because he knew the potential that they could have had, and he gave that up for somebody who he feels he can't be himself or be honest with about his credit and finances. And that's unfortunate, but that was his choice. So period. period. So those are my unpopular opinions so far of season 5 Love is Blind. For my predictions, I predict there's only 2 couples left, which is crazy to me. There's only 3 couples that went. I feel like with Izzy and Stacy, it's not gonna work. I feel like they're both gonna try to save face and go through with the marriage, but by the reunion, they will probably have been split up, because that is no way to live for a man to feel emasculated and like he can't provide and he's not enough. That's just not healthy. And for Stacy, because she knows that she wants more. I predict either Stacey getting a prenup or it's not gonna last to the reunion. And same for Milton and Lydia. Unfortunately, I'm really hoping that Milton doesn't go through with it, but my prediction is that they will. I don't know why. I just feel like he's young and naive, and why not, you know? I feel like Milton will just go through with it, and again, that they're not gonna last. She acts like she's his mom, and it doesn't seem healthy. Long-term prediction is that she would eventually, if they did get married, she would eventually cheat on him and take half of it take half of what he owns in the divorce. That's just my prediction, but ultimately I really hope that they don't get married. If Lydia has any shred of integrity, I feel like she won't go through with it, because I don't think that she really is into him. She just, from the beginning, she's never given that she's really deeply interested or into him, but I do think she wants that financial stability with somebody who is just as accomplished and achieved as her. So I feel like she will go through with it for the look of it and to say she has a husband because she's getting older, but I don't feel like it would work. And even if they push through, I feel like she would eventually take half of what he owns. That's just the feeling, that's just the vibe I get. Yep, and that's my predictions for Love is Blind season 5. I'm waiting for the next episode to come out, and that's it. Yep. Love you. Bye.